I experienced premature ejaculation for more than 5 years. It started when I was 15 years old, and even if this condition ruined a lot of those experiences, there's a reason of why I can look back being grateful for them, and that is love. Even with all the problems, the frustration and the pain, I actually had very strong feelings for the girls that used to be my partners back then. However, years after, when I was already an adult, I started to have sex for fun at some point. And even if it was enjoyable and the girls were hot and sexy, there was something that just didn't feel alright. If I was having fun and it was actually pleasurable, then why I was feeling so empty? Against the system of beliefs that I used to have back then, there was a reality that was placed in front of me. And that was that the quality of sex, how good sex actually was, wasn't only just about the attraction. Something like the connection and the emotional part actually was playing a bigger role in it. And if I wanted to enjoy sex at its fullest, I couldn't ignore that factor. And in order to help you to have the best sex life possible, I want to share with you the things that I learned around this topic so you don't make the same mistakes as me. My name is Jesus Noya and I help men to last longer in bed, become sexually dominant and be more attractive, all this while avoiding the deadly mistakes that I made through my sex life. This comes from my medical background of being a medicine student and 5 years of struggling with things like premature ejaculation, performance anxiety, and non-existent sexual confidence. Today I want to save you from the pain that is having that hole in your soul and your stomach anytime that you finish sleeping with girls, as well as having mediocre, average, and sad sex. I want to also help you to have a more exciting and passionate sex life so you can start to enjoy way more fulfilling sex experiences. And just very quick, if you're struggling with things like premature ejaculation, performance anxiety, and you want to be able to overcome those things fast and make easier the path for you to become a sex god, go and click the link in the description right now. That way you can be in contact with me and we can work together to make that a reality for you as soon as possible. So go and click it right now. But now let's jump into the video. In the last few decades, since the sexual revolution in the 60s, a lot of things have changed in the way that people see and experience sex. One of the biggest changes was that freedom that people start to have around it. Before, for example, seeing someone having sex outside of marriage or a relationship was something terrible. And this was causing different problems, being one of them that people were getting married or into relationships very quick just for the sake of having sex as soon as possible. And of course, there was a lot of discrimination for those who didn't follow the rules, especially women. So this was seen as one of the main reasons for people unhappiness around relationships. The lack of freedom, expression, and not being able to determine if you're actually compatible with your partner and that's why you want to marry, or if it's just your hormones and your desire for having sex that is pushing you to take that decision. So the changes were made eventually. The society and the media started to be way more open around sex, and more open and more open. They started to see things like casual sex, open relationships, polyamory, and I was one of the biggest supporters for this because I thought that this was all real freedom until I experienced it myself. In my narrative, sex was only about fun and pleasure, something that the more we explore it and experiment, especially with different people, the better it was going to be because of the different experiences. What changed in me was realizing that it wasn't about the quantity or variety with different people, because even if I was having a lot of fun with a girl that was wild and had the body of a model, it didn't have comparison to when I was younger and I used to be in love. Even with all the shame that I used to feel back then, those experiences were better. So it wasn't about the quantity and variety, it was about the quality and the connection of how deep was my bond with the person. That was the main thing that was determining how enjoyable was sex for me. And I'm gonna be honest, it's not like I didn't enjoy casual sex at all. It is fun, it is enjoyable and pleasurable. It is all those things, but they don't come from a deep feeling. Pleasure by itself is not that much of a deal. Think about it like food, for example. Eating junk food can be pleasurable, right? But think about it for 1 second. What is exactly this pleasure? I mean, like, what it is actually? It's literally just some feeling in your tongue, like some sparkles in your mouth that will last for a couple of seconds. And then what? Indigestion, feeling sluggish, brain fog, acne, being fat and ugly and feeling like crap for a couple of days. That's what happened with junk food, even if it was enjoyable. And even if we think that it's not that much of a deal, casual sex has consequences and are similar to these ones. I remember a guy, for example, that used to be my friend years ago. There was a girl really in love with him. She was like melting for him all the time. The funny part, if we can say it's funny because to be honest it's sad, was that my friend didn't like her, but not only like not liking her back, he used to talk totally terrible about her, like even calling her a hoe and describing how disgusting and ugly she was as a person and in appearance. So you may think that if he was talking about her like that, he couldn't even tolerate being in the same room with her, right? Well, that's what he would say in front of us, but behind these scenes he would take any chance to fuck with this girl. Because I'm a very influential person, please like this video and subscribe to the channel or I will go to your house. I found out this and even heard the description of how they were having sex, and let me tell you that that it wasn't nice at all. Not even like hate sex that, to be honest, sometimes can be hot. It was more like they were masturbating with each other's bodies. Like the gear was an empty shell that could be easily replaced for an unanimated object. And that's what happens when there's no connection in sex. It feels just gross. This story is more of an extreme case. But even with this, it's always like the same energy. Even if sex is great, like there's a lot of tension and excitement and you guys are being wild and everything, what is left is always the same. It's like a void that isn't filled. You have always that feeling that something is wrong. And a lot of people don't realize that this is an actual problem, or if they know it, they try to blind themselves with it. With the things that I'm saying, you may be thinking that I'm a Puritan or something like that, but I'm actually very far from that. What I want for you is that you can start to have the best sex life possible. To feel like a sex god and you can have like transcendental experiences through fucking. That's why I'm telling you all this. All the people that I usually see against this kind of concepts of love and connection, that people always have the same characteristics. People that cannot have healthy relationships and they are happy with themselves or with the people around them. But even if with all this you still wanna go and give it a try to casual sex, go ahead. And then let me know what happened to see if I was wrong. I just want to let you know beforehand how it could be. When in the other hand, if you have sex with love, undeniably and 100% guarantee, it will always be the best sex in your life. One of the most beautiful, enjoyable and soul connecting experiences that you will ever have. You will feel happy for being alive and maybe even realize why you are actually alive right now. It's like your whole soul and spirit is filled. Having that link and bond, being vulnerable but at the same time dominant with your woman, who is totally surrendered at your masculinity and love, has led into no comparisons with other great experiences on earth. And to be honest, I am very happy that I was able to experience that at some point already. Because now I know that I want the rest of my life to be like that, and that's what I'm optimizing for. That's what I'm working towards, and that's why I'm sharing this. Because I wish the same for you. Again, if you're experiencing things like premature ejaculation or performance anxiety, if you want to overcome those things really fast and accelerate the process for you to become a sex god and be the man of your life, go and click the link in the description right now. That way we can work together and make that a reality as soon as possible for you. But besides that, man, I really hope this helps you, and I'll see you later.